Now we are in what we call rationalism. Now this era is very important because this is when the brilliant minds of the world arose. Let's see. Rationalism. The rationalists upheld the right of each individual to his own opinion, liberty of conscience, freedom of thought. They believed that man could, by his own reason, improve himself and his institutions in order to bring about the general welfare. Now, if Farren is a humanist, for him, what matters most is about the autonomy of human beings. Now, these people called rationalists, for them, the standard to which a person should stand, to which the truth should be revealed, is our capability to reason out. That goes to show, brothers and sisters, that anything that you can reason out is truth. Anything that you can reason out is truth. Anything that you can prove, you can defend, that is the truth. And that is the rationalism era. Oh yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. Even if it's wrong, but still you can able to defend it and no one can stand with your explanation, then that may be the truth. Now, anything in this today, the prevailing concepts of rationalism stipulates that anything can be made right or wrong, good or evil, by describing it. That's how the rational mind works. Anything can be made right or wrong, good or evil, by describing it. So when Christians say, hey, killing is bad, it's murder, the rational people say, of course not. Killing is not bad if you're defending yourself. So by describing it, killing became cool, right? And you defend yourself by killing. Like say, we describe something like the knife for killing, but then the rational people would say, but then we also use the knife for cutting carrots, for cutting cabbages, for cooking. So they try to describe things for it to look good, or for it to look truth or right. So that's how they see it. What is right is determined by logic. This is very dangerous. As long as it is logical, as long as you can defend it, then it must be right. That's the idea.
So, probably this could be one of the bases for the law.
Yes. This is when the great minds of law.
Of course.
But although in the 3rd century, ma'am, 2nd and 3rd century, there are already people who are considered rational. But then, this is the era when most people believe in rationalism. One of which is Tertullian. During the 2nd century, he was known to be logical. Even he became sarcastic because of his logic and rationalizing. So for them, if you can defend it, if you can prove it logically, then it must be the truth. Say, the idea that if love is blind and God is love, then maybe God is blind. Therefore, God is blind. It is logical, and if you can prove it to them, that must be the right thing. Maybe God is blind. Now, rational people would say,
Kaya Pastor Vergara. Siyempre na. Pag-isip lang.
now, normal people, let me try to put a pattern distinction. When we read this, it says, Master Guide is a calling. Someone actually told us about this, and my ear suddenly rang. Master Guide is a calling. I attended the Master Guide training, and that's what I heard. Now, a normal people would just sit, but then people who belong to the rationalist group, would say, what kind of foolishness is this? Master telling me that Master Guide is a calling. And the rationalists would try to argue, how come did you say that Master Guide is a calling? That you're telling us that Master Guide is more than our course, more than our life. The rational people would try to argue. And then they would try to scrutinize this idea, even the person who states this, and they would say, you know what, I cannot find even Paul became an apostle, and I cannot find a single text telling us that Paul took Master Guide training for him to be called. And during the Master Guide, a natural people would say, the director of the Master Guide would say, okay, arms forward. Okay, inhale, exhale, inhale, 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 exhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. Normal people would do that, but then a rationalist would say, what kind of foolishness are you trying to make the people, you're making fool out of the people here. What kind of foolishness is that? And then the Master Guide director would say, okay, perfect Master Guide clap. Then the rationalist would say, this is clapping. Why do we need some more designs in clapping? What kind of, so it's very hard to have a companion which is a rationalist. You would try to rationalize in everything that you do. You would try to, what evidence do you have? Something like that. And I decided to have a friend like this. I better watch out. Okay. Now, these are the aims. A very popular picture, right? My grandfather is a member of this one, but good thing is dead right now. Motivational aims. This is what their aims are, or their aims. Control all the aspects of life by reason. Suppress passions and display of feeling. The education resulting from these aims was aristocratic, creating a class of Illuminati. This word now is very scary word right now. But then during those times when we say Illuminati, those are the people who are actually enlightened. So when people call you, you're Illuminati, he's trying to tell that you are brilliant, that you are illuminated, that you are trying always to argue by reason. So creating a class of Illuminati. But actually the rules need also this one. They had no use. This is the statement that I really like. They had no use for universal education, since they could not accept the idea that lower classes were capable of being educated. For them, the minority groups which are poor, which are uneducated, for them it is illogical for them to be able to be educated. So, for them, education should be just within our sphere. We are the world. We are the children. Something like that. A class of Illuminati. You know the problem about this idea? Maybe it's here in the next one. Since for the determining factor of truth is logic, these people try to eliminate God out of the picture. This is the community. God is not logical to be here. So, for them, God has no place in the society. Since God is illogical, since God, their minds cannot grasp the context of God or a deity. For them, a God is out of the picture. A God does not really exist. For them, miracle does not exist. For them, everything can be explained by reason. The wall of Jericho, who destroyed the wall of Jericho? Christians would say, it's God who destroyed the wall of Jericho. But then, the rationalists would say, no, it's not God. During that time, there was a very, very strong earthquake. That's why the wall of Jericho fell. So, miracle has no place. God has no place. Since God cannot be grasped, since God cannot be understood by logic. That is the problem. So they created their own class, which is called Illuminati. And right now they're still existing. Recruiting is still going on. You can offer your father, your mother to them, and you can be part of this class. Illuminati. So agencies of education and content study. Secondary higher schools were organized under humanist movement. So it's still the humanist people are those who are organizing the school. Why? Maybe because they share the same idea that humans are autonomous or they have their own autonomy. Not the church, not the law, not the Holy Scriptures, but human reason or human autonomy. Encyclopedia. Another agency was a compilation of knowledge about science and philosophy. So it is the Illuminati who developed what we call encyclopedia, the compilation of knowledge that we still have right now. Fashionable salons are also considered as agency. So part of their agency of education is salon. Ladies discuss in the salons what they read in science, pamphlets, etc. So it's a nice thing when you're in the salon trying to have your reband. The girls would talk about hey, you know, I read the science that man came from what we call the pro-consulting, the gorilla, the great giant. They will discuss educational things. Unlike today, when girls go to salon, they discuss about their neighbor's wife, so on and so forth. The issue is a person, not ideas. Yeah, it's just very easy to talk about persons. You know? Don't need to be educated to talk about persons. To talk about the pastor, the area member, very easy. So, next. Okay, all things. This is the content study. The content studies. All things reasonable were included in the curriculum. If it is reasonable, then let's include in the curriculum. And all unreasonable were thrown out. Scientific and philosophical arguments were emphasized. There was no religion. There was no religion. Eternal life? That's foolishness. Let's get done away with it. Let's just stick on scientific and philosophical arguments. Philosophy, science, art, formal etiquette, and codes of self-interest were subjects included in the curriculum. Pupils paid their tuition fees since they belong to the upper class. So tuition is not a problem. They are all rich. So these people, we can see that they are very decent, very formal, very elegant, very gentlemen. So they study formal etiquette. Okay. Here are my personal observations. If you have yours, then maybe you can relate it later. This idea focuses on self, focuses on human beings. Rationalists preclude God in the society since the existence of God is illogical and unreasonable. So, when we say preclude, that means to not include, to exclude. So, they try to exclude God in society since the existence of God is illogical. Truth is determined by reason. Thus, something that is evil can become good if someone can give logical arguments to that. Say, premarital sex. No? If someone can defend it, in fact, even theologians today, they defend premarital sex. No? And they try to distort the Bible by doing so. So, something can be designed, something can be colored, something can be transformed as good, by logically giving proper arguments to that. Lastly, for them, miracles are not true, since it is, again, unreasonable. No miracles. Jesus healing the lepers, Jesus healing the sick, that's nonsense. That's nonsense for them. For them, Jesus was just a magician. That's why he was able to make, wonderful things. Jesus the magician. There's actually a book entitled Jesus as Jesus the Magician. Simply because they do not want to predict to supernatural the miracles that historically happened. So they try to argue that Jesus was just a magician. So those are personal observation. Lastly, let us face it. Rationalism itself is intrinsically evil. And this claim is completely rational. I'm not against logic, I am against the essence of rationalism. Rationalists drive God out of the picture and places man above all things, including judgment over all matters of life, whether it be moral issues or whatsoever. However, they forgot that man is finite. That is the loophole there. No? That man is finite, that man's logic is limited, and therefore could not be a basis or judge over what is true. It is written, God made foolish the wisdom of this world. The truth does not lie on human logic, because the truth is Jesus, revealed to us through the Holy Scriptures. So, the loophole is that they forgot to rationalize that human mind has limitation, that it is limited, that it is finite, no? That we cannot be judged over all matters of life, whether it is moral, ethical, or whatsoever. No? That there is only one standard for knowing the truth, and that is the Bible. The Bible. Here are the outstanding contributions. Logic. So we learned the logic. And inductive method. Now the last, I think this is the last one. The last one is what we call naturalism. Naturalism. So, this is again another dangerous ideology. I hope you will not be converted after this. So, naturalism was an educational movement in Europe. It was the most influential education movement during the 18th century. The child was to be educated in accordance with the natural laws of human development, free from all that was artificial. Now, let us take a closer look about this naturalism. The main doctrine of naturalism is the word itself, natural. That everything happened naturally. That life should be enjoyed, that we should all be pleased, because that is the natural way of how life describes itself. So naturalism. Now, during 18th century, this one flourished. Until 18th century, this one flourished. And until now, associated with some sort of religion, naturalism is very powerful, especially in the West. Let's take a closer look. One proponent is this guy is a former reformer, si Jean-Jacques Rousseau. The first to develop an educational theory based on naturalistic approach. According to him, this is an excerpt from his, I think, a book, Discourse on Inequality. This is what he said. The first man who, having fenced in a piece of land, said, "This is mine," and found people naive enough to believe him, that man was the true founder of civil society. From how many crimes, wars, and murders, from how many horrors, misfortunes, might not anyone have saved mankind by pulling up the stakes or filling up the ditch and crying to his fellows, "Beware of listening to this impostor. You are undone if you once forget that the fruits of the earth belong to us all, and the earth itself to nobody." Yeah. That is what this Jean guy taught. The earth belongs to nobody. He's trying to say that everything does not belong to God. That since everything comes naturally, then man is the owner of this. Man is the owner. So when, during that time, people, especially the poor ones, they became more, it seems that they were empowered. When people claim, "Hey, that piece of land is mine," what are you trying to say? That piece of land is to nobody. Humanists, naturalists. Let's see what this naturalist teaches. First, they teach that life is contingent. That means that this one, yeah, you are here only because you are very lucky, Mr. Farren. It's by chance only. Life is contingent. For them, life is temporary. For them, the life that we have right now that's everything. That goes to show that since the life that we have right now is everything, and after that, there will be nothing more to it than that. The idea is to make the best out of life today. Because when you die, that's the end of life, period. So people goes on to abuse, to exploit, to do something, whatever measure it will take for them to be prosperous in this life, because they believe that life is temporary. That life is limited. That life has no meaning at all. It is pointless. Since you came here naturally like a mushroom, then the moment you die, society would not care. The people would just say, oh, that's natural. So this is very dangerous. And this is the root of the evil teaching which states that you came from that animal right over there. That we came from a very small organism, and later on, after billions of years, this organism became something else, and after billions of years, this something else become another else. And after some billions of years, this another else became what we call monkey. And then after billions of years, that monkey becomes human. They called it human, a higher form of animals. And that monkey who turned out to be a human now speaks before you. So that is what they believe. The naturalists believe. Educational aims. Preservation of natural goodness of man and virtue. Man by nature is good and virtuous. Okay, that's very nice idea. Man by nature is good and virtuous. Since man by nature is good and virtuous, he was born to be good. You have to educate him for him to be well aware of, for him to be informed. And in that way, man will continue in the process to become good and virtuous. So one aim of them is to preserve the natural goodness of man and his virtue, which is innate to him. Secondly, individual freedom. To free the individual from the impositions of the state, the church, and the aristocratic society. Their motto is, freedom is a right of an individual. When an individual is born, he gained the right to be free. So, natural freedom. Next, create a new society. To create a society in which the individual could attain his fullest fulfillment as a natural man. The problem here, I read some book, to some extremes, naturalists, there was a certain place, I wasn't sure which place is it, but then the book tried to explain that in some places, naturalists became so extreme that even premarital sex is just natural around the school, around the streets, around the market. And you can just say, hey, it's not good. Then they will tell you, it's natural. It's a natural need. So it's natural. So when you ask someone who debate, say they had premarital sex, they had affair and adultery, you would say, it's natural. I need it. That's my natural need. I have a right, I am free. So it's okay. So to some extremes, this idea is very dangerous. Very dangerous. Now, here are the personal observations. Man is in a sinful state. He is carnal. His thoughts are evil. According to him, man is naturally good. But then the problem is, the Bible said, man is in a state of being carnal, and his mind, his thoughts are evil, all evil. According to Jeremiah 17:19, I'd like to read. Yeah. The verse said, the heart is deceitful above all things, and desperately wicked, and who can know it? So, direct contradiction to Christian idea that man is in a sinful state. So, man is not naturally good, but man is in a sinful state. That when we are born, we inherited the tendency and the inclination to sin. We are not born sinners, but then we are born to be inclined to sin. So, to be free is to be accountable. So, their idea is freedom is a right. But then, to a Christian perspective, to be free is to be accountable. In 1 Corinthians 7:22, let's see. I'm not really sure what is written there. I'll read it. 7:22. For he that is called... Okay. For he that is called in the Lord, being a servant, is the Lord's free man. Likewise, also he that is called, being free, is Christ's servant. So in a Christian perspective, if we are free, we became Christ's servant. And in Galatians 6:7, be not deceived, God is not mocked, for whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. So the idea is to be free is to be accountable. Well, you can do some crazy things, but then you have to know that the consequences of your sin shall find you. The consequences shall find you. And the idea is also a natural thing. That when you deviate, the consequence would naturally come. When you deviate, the consequences will naturally come. When David committed sin, the consequences naturally came. And David was not able to control it. His sons and daughters, they do something crazy together, they kill each other, and even his son tried to kill him. So the consequences, you should always know that your freedom always has an accountability. Nextly, God made man, therefore I am. Life is not by chance. There is a supreme God who created all things, who promised a life with meaning, with direction, and without end. So, contrary to what naturalists believe, in a Christian point of view, we are all created by God. There's a supreme being who created us. We did not came here by chance, by accident, but it was for an intended purpose. And if that is the case, then your life today has to be a meaning. It has to be a meaning. So those are the personal observations. Here are their agencies and content studies. The parents had to handle the education of their children at home. So we read this over and over again that when at the age of a child when he is capable of learning, the first part is to be educated by the parents. We see a very crucial role of a parents here. Tutorship was best suited to the educational plan of Rushu. History was taught as biography. Astronomy and geography were learned through observation. Counting and weighing things, measuring distances, drawing. Singing were also included in the curriculum. Women are only taught dancing. Embroidery and home chores to please their men. So, the content studied for women is just very easy to remember. Women should also only learn to dance, to do home the purpose of pleasing their men. Praise the Lord. Just kidding. Okay. Here are their contributions. First, the pre-modern principle of teaching, which is growth, pupil activity, individualization, okay, in psychology, the order of nature, the need, activity, experience, and knowledge. So I think that's all that's left. So if you have any problem, you can ask questions. But as I have said, after my report, you will also be reporting, so you have to think twice. Just kidding. And do you have any concern? Do you have anything, some things